Good morning. Welcome to the studio at Two Girls Treasure. Tip you right up. How are you? I'm Diane Pruitt. We are continuing our series on turning a 1950s, 60s sewing table with no sewing machine into a vanity. So we started out the week by creating our colors and designing our mold castings. I put some more on yesterday, and you've seen this 100 times already this week. This is Persephone. This is the brand new Iron Orchid Designs mold set from the Summer 2024 collection. We have these available for you. I am also using Hello Pumpkin from 2 years ago. We still have a couple of those available. I'm using roses, heirloom roses and roses, as well as the brand new oak leaves and acorns, and a recent release, Verides. This is from the spring collection. So we are working on the legs of this. Someone's calling, y'all. Let's just kick it over to voicemail. We were putting the castings, and we're using our amazing casting resin, and we were running them down the legs and around the sides. And today we need to get hinged. Let me tip you in so you can see what we're working on. I've got to be down here to do this because I need this stable. And I have my trusty drill. And I have a set of drill bits because we're going to need to drill pilot holes. We're putting hinges where they have never been. So before we attach the hinges, we're going to mark our holes and we're going to drill a pilot hole so that we don't split the lumber when we get ready to put the hinges in and the screws in. I have not painted the top of this yet. But this is what it looked like. Of course, it's skinned up now. And this is where we are. So I have castings all the way down the legs. I started on the sides. It is taped up like it has master band-aids on it. And we're going to do this hinging today. Because previously in life, this thing opened like this, and we don't need it to. We now need it to open like this. So we're going to set this down where we can get to it. And I have gone into my Cave O hardware. I even came out with some beautiful rope trim molding. Not sure where I'm going to use that or if I'm going to use that, but I have it. So that's not a bad thing. These are not the right hinges. These are cabinet hinges. You see where they're beveled, they're marked so that your cabinet doors will open and close correctly. Not the right type of hinges. And then I have a bag of cabinet hinges, and they're 1960s-ish. Kind of nice. They have a good spring action on them. Not really sure this is what I want here, but definitely not something that'll work because, again, it has that edge right there, so it'll go around a cabinet door. So these won't work either. And then I have a bag of giant hinges. These definitely won't work. These are large in charge. These are brass. These are for doors. Those won't work, but you move these all out of the way. These hinges and blocks, let's see what these came off of. These came off of a storage bench. So not only do I have the hinges, but I have the piece that goes on the side that sort of holds it up, gives it a little slide. I don't know if we can use this, but we'll see. there are the blocks, and I believe I'm going to need this one right here. And there's another one of the slide arms. We'll keep that. And right here I have 2 flat brass hinges. I think these are perfect. Let's set them up and let's see. Now, in order to fit these, and I'm not going to measure right this second. We'll measure in a minute. I'm going to go ahead and tear off a couple of fresh pieces of tape. Sometimes people wonder why projects cost so much, and it's kind of a materials cost issue. We've gone through a lot of tape on this project, and just like everything else in our world, tape has gone up, and it was never cheap to begin with. I look for it on sale. Our dear friend Sharon alerted me when she found it on sale, and that was helpful. I always love a good sale because then I can get what I need. Now, if you buy tape in abundance, the sticky eventually will go bad. So just be cautious about how much you purchase, because you can overbuy your tape and eventually it just won't be any good. Now let me turn this so you can see. Remember that we have this routed edge right here. So we need to be careful. I've got them tipped in wrong, don't I? Because those only go on a 90 degree like that. They've got to go like this. Ta-da! And here we go. All right. Untake this one, but I've got this one locked down. If you're just joining me this morning, thank you for being here. We've been working this week on our sewing table to vanity featuring the goddess of the harvest, which is appropriate for August, Persephone. We're also using the Rethunk Junk color of the week, which is Cactus Rose. Now, we did do a blend. We mixed our colors so we could get exactly what we were looking for. And so we have this beautiful harvest rusty color, and I think it's beautiful and perfect. I think these hinges will work, but here comes my master carpenter husband, and let's see what he thinks about it. Oh, I have one. So, Scott, we're at the part where we have to put hinges in. So I've got some hinges, and I have my drill bits so I can drill pilot holes. So I've laid them in. This is where they're going to fit. The hinge pin at the back will stick out a little bit, but that'll be okay. And then when we set this top piece down, it raises it up just a little bit, about a 1/16 an inch of an inch. That'll be okay. What do you think?
Yep, that'll work.
And then we can tip it up. You think that'll work?
Yep, take and mark this here, 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 and here.
Well, I haven't measured it yet.
Yep.
And then we need to mark where the hinge holes go. So let's get out our tape measure and pencil, because I have 15 different pencils here. I'm sure I can put my hands on just one. If you will look in the second drawer up front, you'll find a nice long one. He needs tools too. All right, y'all. This is 21 3/4. Anybody else have a nightmare with mosquitoes right now after the hurricane waters have still not receded? Yeah, we do, and the dragonflies are doing the best they can out in the front yard at Two Girls Treasure, but they cannot keep up. So my precious husband is here today to fog the building inside to keep the mosquitoes at bay, because I got attacked this morning by mosquitoes. All right, we are 21 3/4. half of that is going to be 10.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 10.5 plus 3 is going to be 10 7/8. That is our center point for the entire piece. Now, our hinges are 2.5 inches each. So we want to find the center point now on each side and measure and mark where the center of our hinges will be. So if our center point of the entire table is 10 7/8, half of that is going to be 5, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. It will be 5, and someone tell me exactly what it is. It's the mark. 30 seconds. That's 4, 12, 13, 14, 13, 14, 30 seconds, perhaps. Right there. That's going to be our center point. Let's count it out and see. Bum, bum, bum. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. And that's 5 and 1, 2, 3. I think that's just about right. It is close enough for government work, and we're in a government building, y'all, so that should count for something. All right, let's do it again. We're going with 5 3/4 as our center mark for our center of our hinge. There we go, right there. And let's move them and see. Let's take this tape off. That helps, but we're going to need it again in a minute. So I'm going to lay this to the side. There's our center mark. I'm going to go ahead and draw my circles in. And we'll take this one off and do the very same thing. There's our center point. Hold that down firmly so it does not shift. Draw those holes. You do not need to drill out that far. You do need screws that the head of the screw will hold on that hole. You don't want a screw that's so small it falls down through. So there's our, I think we were crooked on here, so let's wipe that and we'll remark that because it's not level. And we need that to be level. Let me grab another alcohol wipe and wipe that clean. If you see fog coming in, you praise the Lord and you thank my husband because he is killing mosquitoes. Can't stand them, don't like them, don't know why they exist. But I sure don't need any more of my blood gone. I'm getting old, I need it. All right, let's try this again. And this time I will hold it firmly, draw my circles. The problem with the first one is that my hinge was not straight. So one of my holes was closer to the edge than the rest of them. And we can go in and double check that. This is the tedious part of the project, y'all. Are you still with me? We need to be at 3/8 and 1/2. And we are. And we are. Let's check this side. And we are. And we are. And we are. Listen, we're getting ready to drill in. Drilling a hole wrong is really not an option on this project because we need to make sure we're drilling right the first time. I'm okay with marking on here. I'm okay with measuring it 3 times. But Grampy used to say, measure twice, cut once. And I think the very same applies to drilling holes. You need to make sure that when you're drilling, you are drilling accurately. Now, to say that, I need to say this. Now we need our straight edge. So let me grab my straight edge out of my fabulous toolkit. Let me find where we put it because we were digging in it yesterday. I did let my husband borrow tools. Y'all know the rule. Y'all know he's not allowed. But I did. I let him. We need a straight edge. This is my fabulous bag of tools. And my straight edge is supposed to be right here. I used it for another project. I know he did not borrow my straight edge. Did he? Question marks, question marks. All right, let me find a good straight edge to use because we have to mark the center, the absolute center of the holes. If we don't mark the center of the holes, then we risk our screws not going in straight. Therefore, our top won't set straight. And we have to make sure they're set straight. If you walk in the store right now, don't panic. It is just a fog to kill the mosquitoes. I don't want any of y'all to get bitten in here, and so my love is doing something about that. All right, we have the centers marked in one direction. Could be tedious and do it in the other, and I probably should. If I'm telling the truth and doing it right, they should be marked in both directions so that the dead center of the hole, I need to put my crosshairs, that's where we're drilling. And all we're going to do is drill a pilot hole so that when we get ready to put the screws in, we don't split the wood. Always drill a pilot hole to get started. It makes it easier, and then you won't split your lumber no matter what you're drilling into. If you'll take the time to drill that pilot hole, it'll make your whole world a whole lot better. All right, I'm going to start with my smallest one. I don't want to use the bigger one because my screws are that small. Now the head of the screw is big enough, but I'm afraid if I use the next size drill bit, you see the little one in my hand? I'm afraid if I use the next size up, the hole will be too big. And I don't need a full-on hole, I just need a guide hole for the screw to go in. What does that mean? It means don't drill all the way through. Slow and easy. There's no need to drill it fast. Slow and steady wins the race, right? In just a little bit and back out. That one needs to be a little deeper. It is. It's filled up with the wood shavings. Sometimes if you can't see straight on, lay your drill bit down and then just tip it up. Make sure you don't lay it directly on the center so that as you tip it up, it goes to the center. Take your time here. There we go. And let's do it again. Tip that drill up so it touches your center line. And then reverse the drill and come back out. Let's do it one more time. 2 more times actually. And don't drill in too deep. You don't want to drill deeper than your screws are long. You just want enough of a start so that you can lay those in and put the screws to them. Now these are flathead screws, which I'm gonna be honest, are not my favorite thing in the world to work with a drill. But get your drill bit out. You don't have to go fast. Do we have company?
Right.
Okay. Did that freak him out that there was fog in the store?
Yeah.
Alright. Now, I'm going to start 1 screw in the first hole. I'm going to go ahead and grab 2 more. And we'll set them in and run just a couple of threads in by finger. Is he going to start at the other side of the store? Okay. That's fantastic. Alright. Now, we're not going to put them all the way in to start, because when you're putting your hinges on, you want to leave them a little bit loose so that you can adjust as you need. And we still need to mark the other side of this. So we're not in a hurry right this second. I hate a flat slotted screw. Hate it, hate it. I can change them. I probably should have. But you know, I was so excited that I found hinges and screws all in the same place. We'll just go with it. Easy on the inset. Pressure when you need it. Come on now. This one's gonna act like a toddler. Blow a little bit of the debris out of the way and maybe that'll help. I'm gonna run it back in just gently with my fingers. We've got 2 out of the 3 set down in. That's looking pretty good right there. Now, I know you want to know, how do we do the other side? Well, let's get these down in there. I'm going to get a screwdriver because you know what? When it gets like this, I'm so much better with the manual tools. It's just easier for me. And I probably should have sense enough to change them, but I don't. So we'll go with what we have right this minute. I'm going to tink this in right here. It's tight because there's never been a hole right there before, and we just made one. I need a smaller screwdriver. That won't work. You got my smaller screwdriver, didn't you? Huh? No, my tool bag's right here. Let's see. There's a smaller screwdriver. There we go. That makes it better. And we'll go ahead and run this one down. All right, boss of them all. I've got one side pilot drilled. I've got one side with the screws in. And now we need to set the lid and fit it. That's going to be beautiful. That is beautiful. How are we going to do the other side? Well, first we're going to measure, then we're going to mark. We need 1 7/8 in. All right, so let's mark that. 1 7/8 in. Let's line this up as best we can so it all makes sense. I'm gonna lock that and mark this. Now, one of the other things Scott taught me, and I learn a lot from him because he used to be a builder, still is. When you're marking your spot, draw an arrow. Because if you draw a straight line, you think you're drawing a straight line, you're really not drawing a straight line. Mark it with an arrow, and then you will know exactly the point where you need to be. So we're 1 7/8 in, and do you remember our measurement from here? Our center point is 5.5. Just under 5.5. We were 5 and 7. No. 12 30 seconds right there. 5 and 12 30 seconds is our center point for our hinge. So we have our outside edge, we have our center point, and we need our depth. This is our depth, right? I believe it is. 7/8. And that's it right there. So this is where our hinge is going to be. And we'll do the same thing on this side. So in order to mark the hinge where we need it, we'll use this one. And let's see if that's what we have there. Dun, dun, dun. This is the side that goes here. And look, we are dead on. Nice. All right, let's mark it. We'll draw our holes, and then I know you've all seen the tape tricks. I know you've all seen the paint on the head of the screw tricks. Those are great tricks all the way until they don't work. And if you want it to work well, measure and mark, measure again, use your straight edge. There's no real substitute for measuring. This is tedious, and it is absolutely the most boring part of working on your projects. But if you want your projects to come out the way you expect, the way you need them to, if you want your hinges straight, if you want your lid to fit when you go to it, that's kind of what you've got to do, is measure and mark. Good morning, Sharon. I just opened my phone to see who's with me. Thank you if you're here. I appreciate you very much. I'm going to go ahead and pre-drill these 3 holes, and then we will put this together and see if I was anywhere near accurate. If I'm not, then we're going to be done for the day, and I'm going to go cry and wood fill the holes I drilled. But if I'm right, then we'll be able to move this project forward. And I can't wait, because I really want to get the paint on it, y'all. I think Becky's waiting to see. All right. Let's crosshair our holes. I know where my metal straight edge is. And I know they look funny, but if you have a headlamp, that's really helpful here. All right, I might be wrong. This might not work. But what if it does? You know what? I measured and marked the wrong side. I did. That's okay. We'll get to it. I will, because I've got to make a level surface for this to sit on so that I can flush this out and make sure my hinges are exactly where they need to be. I know you want to see this, so if you're local, come on by the store and maybe you can offer up your best advice. Scott will be here for a little while, so I know as soon as I turn this camera off, he'll come back over and get involved. I know he will. All right, y'all, we're hinged. We're going to get hinged, and then once we're hinged, we're going to get really colorful tomorrow morning. Thank you for being here with me today. I know this is not nearly as exciting as pouring resin or painting colors, but it is a very necessary part of building or rebuilding a piece of furniture. And I want to make sure you have some idea how to do it the way I learned how. You might have a completely different way, and I think that's wonderful. Find the way that works well for you, and then flip a hinge. Take an old sewing table and make it into something more useful and more modern. Thank you for being here with me today. I'm Diane Pruitt. We're in the studio at Two Girls Treasure in Florence, South Carolina. Stop in and see us anytime Monday through Saturday from 8 till 6, and we'll welcome you and host you. We'll be glad to. Take care of yourselves and each other today. Stay safe on the roads. Take your foot off the gas pedal a little bit if you need to, and let someone merge if it means staying safe. Have a blessed and wonderful day. I'll see you right back here tomorrow morning at 9. Bye, y'all.